You're going to need it. I'm just kidding. You're not going to need that. Maybe a little caffeine, maybe a little sugar. I'll tell you, peach pie, one of my favorite things. Wish I could get a peach pie right now. Anyway, I'm going to go live on Instagram right now. What's up, Instagram? It's your friendly neighborhood Aristotle full throttle with a throw. A full throw. A full-throated throw. You know, you might notice my shirt says Brad today. It's not my name. It's just the name of a band. Why not? It could be the name of a Brad. It could be the name of a person named Brad. It's just a band name. It's a proper name. It's fine. However, nobody in the band is named Brad, so I'm glad I cleared that up. What's up, Flick or Treat? You ever see a bad movie, Flick or Treat? You ever pay to go see a bad movie? You ever see an excellent movie and then you were like super surprised and excited for them to come out with a sequel to that movie, only to have that sequel suck terribly? Yeah, man. It's awful. It's really sad. When I was a kid, sequels would come out all the time and they'd be like, hey, remember how good the first movie was? Well, we're going to conveniently forget because we just want you to buy a ticket. Sequels were different. They were a different thing. What's up, Kelsey, Alabama? Just waving. I hope you brought your coffee. This is only my first coffee of today. First one. First one, many more to go. Actually, probably not. I actually saw this movie. It's called Mr. Death. It's not a sequel. It's just the name of a movie. It's a documentary. You could probably Google it. I think it's on Amazon for like $2. This dude, he's the subject of this documentary. He happens to be a weird engineer guy, all of his stuff. But one of the little quirks about this guy, and they do a little offshoot in the movie, he drinks like 32 cups of coffee a day or something ridiculous. Or 42 cups of coffee a day. He was asked by his doctor, how many cups of coffee do you drink? He said 42 cups. I'm only like 41 less than him. I'm catching up. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that far behind. Not far behind, like that song by Candlebox. Hey, Tatiana Wilkinson. What's up, Angelo? Nice to see you here. I haven't seen you in the live chats, but welcome. Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and we're off. Smokey and the Bandit 2. I'm also simulcasting on Instagram, guys, on YouTube. YouTube and Instagram are being simulcast. When I was a kid, there was a thing called simulcast, and you could, now get this, they didn't really have good stereo systems, I guess. I don't know what the reason for this was, but what we did was they would tell you on the TV when they were broadcasting like Star Wars or something, or the Ewok Adventure, they would tell you, tune your radio to this station. And on the radio, they would simultaneously broadcast the soundtrack of the TV show that you were watching so you could turn it up real loud. Because people didn't connect their TVs to their stereos quite yet. Weird, right? You must be wondering, how old am I? When 900 you reach, look as good you will, said my uncle. My uncle was little and green. Will brings up Crow, City of Angels. Yeah, man. That's a good one. That's a good one, too. We're going to have to go back to Mortal Kombat Annihilation first, though. That was pretty disappointing. Mortal Kombat was pleasantly surprising. Surprisingly, like, Mortal Kombat, guys, that might be the greatest video game movie ever. There has never been a good video game movie, arguably. And arguably, Mortal Kombat is not good. However, it's enjoyable. It is the best at something, and that's being a video game adaptation. Good golly. I can't really hate on Mortal Kombat Annihilation too much because I have a friend who's in the movie, and I believe he plays. I forgot his role. I'll tell you his role. I won't tell you his name. Because then you could just Google it and then reverse Google it. But my friend, it's a very famous name. Obviously, I should know this off the top of my head. Oh, Shao Kahn. That's a friend of mine. Good golly. I met my friend Shao Kahn years ago when I first moved to Hollywood. And he took me under his muscly wing. Gave me a noogie. But he could not penetrate the fro. Mortal Kombat 2. I don't even know why they would try. Why would they try? Why would they try the first time? I guess because there's a guy, actually. There's a guy who, he's in Germany or in like Northern Europe somewhere, and what he does is he literally just buys all the video game rights to turn them into movies. This one guy. And I think he does it just because, and he doesn't care too much about the quality of the movies, and that's why they all suck. But it's like this one dude who his business is turning video games into movies. And he doesn't care about anything other than the profit, which, you know, you can't blame him if he's been doing it for 25 years. I mean, you can blame him. I blame him. They just try for the money. This is what a sequel used to be. Definitely. It still is. A sequel used to be a money grab. People were like, let's just name another thing after the thing that was successful. Like Halloween 3. I think it's Halloween 3, where it's like the Night of the Witch or something. Or Halloween 2, where it just totally changes the franchise. People wanted more of Michael Myers killing people, and then they gave them like witches and pumpkins and kids in high school and stuff. I forget what it was. Night of the Witch. They didn't care about the original material. I mean, it was John Carpenter, I think, but he wanted to tell a new story. He wanted Halloween to be like an anthology story. Halloween 3 is pretty good. It's just it's different than what they set you up to think it was going to be. So he wanted it to be like an anthology series where every Halloween movie was going to be a totally different story about Halloween, which is pretty cool. But people were like, nah, give me the guy with the knife. Give me the guy with the William Shatner mask. Give me the music. Oh, I don't have music today. Let's see. That's the thing I love playing the most. Oh, my keyboard just died. Hang on, guys. Technical difficulties. Oh, here we go. It's pretty scary. Anyway, that's in 5. That's pretty nerdy musical thing. Anyway. John Carpenter wrote that for the movie because 2 days before the movie came out, we talked about that. Carrie, Son of Mask. Yeah, I remember Mask being fun. I also remember Mask, going to see Mask, Jim Carrey. And they were like, in the credits it says, introducing Cameron Diaz. I always think it's pretty funny and a bold statement to introduce a new actor in your opening credits. Because you're like, look who we found. Hollywood, because sometimes you could be like introducing, I don't know, who was like, you know, I always say this, but that Vin Diesel, he's gonna be a big star someday. But you know, like if you were to say introducing someone who never became who they were supposed to be, who everybody thought who was banking on. I did see a movie. There's a movie called Fierce Creatures, I think, and it says introducing Kate Winslet. So they nailed that one. That was pretty smart of them. Yeah, Halloween 3. See, I'm kicking it with old school Halloweens. Halloweens. There are 10 of them, I think. Or 7. How many Halloweens are we up to? Just reading some Flickr Treat. A Good Day to Die Hard. You know, Flickr Treat. I didn't watch that movie. And I'll tell you why. Because I'd been disappointed too many times. I draw a line. I draw a line in the sand sometimes because I go, hey, Michael Bay, don't fool me ever again, Michael Bay, and then I won't go see Michael Bay movies. So for the Die Hard movies, here's what happened. I love Die Hard. Think it's the greatest action movie of its era. Changed the whole idea of action movies. We didn't have a guy or somebody or a main character, maybe Ripley in Aliens, maybe Ripley in Alien, and that was it. So, you know, and then you had the James Bond movies where he would survive weird, ridiculous things, but Die Hard, story with heart, guy in a tower, so many different elements of the first movie that you can't really reproduce in a sequel, so you have to kind of find a new hook, and that's why, particularly Die Hard, the central theme is about John McClane reconciling with his wife and also making a new friendship and bonding with this dude on the ground because they're both cops. So there's like this whole dynamic going on in the first Die Hard that you can't replicate. You can't redo that every time. And that's a problem with a lot of sequels. What they try to do is they just try to redo the first movie over and over again. But you got to find a new arc. The character, by definition, has changed from the beginning of the first movie to the end of that first movie. So every movie, the character changes fundamentally. That's like what a movie is. A movie is, by definition, by definition, it's a story told in pictures. But your characters have to undergo a change. And then the next sequel, the next movie that they come out with, they've got to have a new change. They've got to find a new thing to confront and overcome or succumb to. Guys, this is what we do here in Movie Town, in magical Movie Town. So when I saw Die Hard 2, directed by Renny Harlin, who I do not like Renny Harlin movies. Let it be known, Renny Harlin, Roland Emmerich, Michael Bay, they can all go in the same explosive garbage can of directors. I don't know. Good for them for making their billions of dollars. Good for them for being, dudes who are afforded the opportunity to make a movie over and over again, much to the chagrin of anybody who, people are paying to go see them, so they're making people money and they're doing their job well. I don't like what they do, though. Me, personally, the guy with the cup of coffee hanging out with you. I don't like it. And because I have a microphone, who cares? Didn't like Die Hard 2. Thought Die Hard 2 was just not good. It had a lot of the same visual elements. Cinematography was similar. The music and the vibe was similar. But the story and everything else was garbage. Die Hard 3, tolerable because they brought back the whole Hans dynamic in some way. And they brought back that kind of dynamic of a heist in some way. Instead of the second one was about freeing a prisoner of war or something, or a hostage, I forget. Because I choose to forget. Live Free or Die Hard, I didn't mind. My friends are in that movie, and I'll tell you the scene where Kevin Smith is in his basement. When it cuts to that scene, there's a close-up of his TV screen, and the band Flyleaf is on the screen, and you could see Lacey and Pat and all them, and I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, they got a song in a Die Hard movie. So that's a fun little moment for me. But it kind of dates the movie also, because I was like, oh, must have been 2002 or 3. But they're immortalized next to Bruce Willis and Kevin Smith, their mug. But guys, Die Hard, a good day to Die Hard flick or treat. Never will I go to see that. Never ever. Not once. Because I just said, you know what? I quit. I'm done. I'm done with this premise. And it looked terrible. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. I don't really like the guy with the giant head. What's the guy with the giant head who plays Boomerang? Jai Courtney. Jay Courtney? I don't like him. Listen, between Jai Courtney and Roland Emmerich, I'm just like the whole dumpster on fire after this. Listen, I'm going to tell you who I don't like, Jai Courtney. And it's not because he's got a giant head. It's not because physically his cranium is too large for his body. It's not that his head is startlingly large for a human being to have in the first place, yet alone the frame that he particularly has. It's not that I am terrified of the size of his noggin, that his melon is way too big for the fruit stand. I'm not worried about that. It's just that he's generic, you know? He's like the Sam Worthington-less. He's Sam Worthington-less. He's not Worthington. They're the same guy. They could be the same guy. Nobody knows. There's no way of telling. Other than you have to get your ruler out and measure their head. And the one with the giant head is probably Jai in Ted Courtney. So I've been isolating. Been home alone. How have you been? How are things with you? Good golly. RoboCop 3, Will. Good God. You want to just kick it. You just want to kick it to the top notch of disappointing sequels. Will just goes right to the top of the list with RoboCop 3. Good golly. I remember seeing RoboCop 3, and I was like going into the movie thinking, you know what? Peter Weller isn't going to be playing RoboCop in this sequel. Will I be okay with that? Not really. So I wasn't really okay with the idea of Peter Weller not playing RoboCop on account of the fact that he originated the character. If you think about it, an actor's job is to, you know, if they want you to play a tree, you play a tree. But you play the heck out of that tree, and you better be the tree. Peter Weller was the tree of RoboCop. And I'll tell you, I'll say my piece on this. He originated the character. An actor's job is to bring to life the words. And the director is to help tell the story. You know, the actor's job is also to tell the story, but like, you have to tell the story of what's going on. You have to serve the story. The director, in this case, Paul Verhoeven in RoboCop, he's kind of putting together all of the story. He's directing. He's making sure that everybody's on the same page, that the whole story is going in the same direction. Peter Weller came up with that physicality. He came up with the way of talking, the emotion, all of the weight. It's not. I mean, his face was like this much for a majority of the movie, yet we felt him go through his arc, especially when they take his mask off. It was a pretty amazing, creepy scene. So when you come around to RoboCop 3, RoboCop 2, directed by, was it Frank Miller? Directed, because Frank Miller was a comic book artist. And I believe he might have directed, because I was talking about George Miller yesterday, and he directed Mad Max. Yeah. So I think Frank Miller directed or wrote. Let's see. I guess he wrote RoboCop 2. Who directed RoboCop 2? I think it's a someone notable. I think it was the dude who directed Empire Strikes Back, actually. Irvin Kershner. I'm pretty sure about that. Irving Kershner also directed a RoboCop movie. And it's good. It's not, I mean, the weird thing about RoboCop 2 is that it feels like it's trying to be RoboCop 1, and it does hit a lot of the same tone. And it's super dark. But RoboCop 3 was just like, okay, let's just throw this thing at the wall and see what sticks. There's a new actor playing RoboCop in that. And he's just like a generic guy. He kind of does he's got a similar look. I think the fact they hired him was probably because he was skinny. That dude actually went on to play some significant roles, though. So the problem with that, I found, was that it just suffered from like sequelitis, where it gets watered down and then double watered down and then watered down like a million times more, like exponentially terrible by the time you get to 3. So if the second one is 1/3 as good as the first one, and the third one is 1/3 as good as the second one, it's like 1/9 as good as the first one, which is not good. Not good at all. Robert John Burke played RoboCop. Yeah, this guy's got a pretty decent, long-standing career. Oh, he was the dude in Thinner. Remember that movie? But, you know, pretty good deal for him to get into the business, kind of. I don't think we knew him before that moment. That was like his breakout role was taking over a role that was established already, which is not a bad thing. So just make it your own. But the jetpacks, guys, come on. Jetpacks in a RoboCop movie? Maybe. I can accept the jetpacks. I could suspend my disbelief on jetpacks. However, the problem I have with RoboCop 3 ultimately comes down to the robot ninjas. I think that the fact that there are multiple identical robot ninjas trying to fight RoboCop took me out of the whole movie. Robot ninjas, by the way, that are indistinguishable from just regular people. So why did RoboCop have to walk around like a big machine? He didn't. First 2 movies at least have some kind of social commentary. The third movie has robot ninjas. What's up, do not follow me, I'm serious. I'm glad you showed up, because we were waiting for you to show up just so we could tell you that we're talking about terrible sequels. Movies that you went to pay to see because you liked the first one, or the second one, or the first group of movies, and then you paid to see another movie, and you were like, oh, this movie's terrible. I want to go drown myself. That's the movie I saw that was like that was Weekend at Bernie's 2. I saw that. That was terrible. Let me tell you that story. Me and my friend Jose Aviles, me and him were like, do you want to go see a movie? And we were like, yeah. What movies are out? I don't know. Weekend at Bernie's 2 is out. I liked the first one, kinda. It's pretty funny. How are they going to make a sequel to this? How could they make a sequel with more laughs that is still at least believable, that we can suspend our disbelief? And we were amazed at the possibility. However, they did not do it. They did not fulfill that. They were not able to do that. They could not make a sequel. It was bad. The first Weekend at Bernie's is pretty great because what he does is he just dies. He dies natural causes, and these guys just show up at his weekend house on Long Island, I think, and they're like, "Oh, he is dead. He died, but we have to pretend that he's still alive because people are showing up." Well, he didn't die of natural causes. He was murdered. And yeah, funny premise. However, how do you extend that into a sequel? You can't. They could have been creative. I have a problem with the Hangover series. I said the other day that the Hangover series should have been this. It should have just been a guy. No. The Hangover sequels should have continued discovering what happened the first night they blacked out, because there was so much ridiculousness that unfolded from that first night that I think you could have just made like a whole parallel side story of something that they got into that first night that they didn't know about. Maybe they got into like some kind of crazy mafia situation and then they owed money. But then no, they just made sequels where they had another hangover again. It's dumb. They should have just continued. Like, they could have had another hangover situation or something, but because you really do generally have to fulfill your title's requirements and have a hangover at some point or a reference to it. Except for Halloween, Night of the Witch. I'd buy that for $1. Yeah. We're also talking about Jai Courtney and his giant head. Do not follow me, I'm serious. Yeah, we're just nailing it. We're just hitting all the landmark terrible movies here. Teen Wolf 2, but with TOO, because it was the 80s and the Batemans were all the rage. Anybody on Family Ties was kind of like they were trying to cash in on the show Family Ties, because they were like, Michael J. Fox was Teen Wolf and he's on Family Ties and he's got 2 hits in the same year, Teen Wolf and Back to the Future. He did the same year and he was on Family Ties. And his sister, Justine Bateman, her brother in real life is Jason Bateman. So someone was like, oh, we've got someone related to somebody on Family Ties. Why don't we make a sequel to Teen Wolf? And Jason Bateman was like, hey, I'm not doing anything. And he said, I'm not doing anything, and then I'm going to be doing lots of things later. I'm going to be on Arrested Development, and I'll never go away. I'll always be around making pretty good stuff. Jason Bateman. I do like Ozark. I got to watch the new season. Jason Bateman is good. I liked The Gift. If you saw The Gift, it's a movie that he directed. I think he wrote. Oh, no, he didn't write. The guy in it wrote it, and Jason Bateman either produced it or directed it. It's pretty good. Jason Bateman's in it. It's good. What's up, Bangani? I don't know why I raised my voice to say hi to you, like as if you were in the back row. What's up? What's up, Bangani? I could just say what's up like that at the same volume I've been speaking. Percy Jackson. I didn't see any Jacksons. I didn't see the Jackson 5. I didn't see any of the Percy Jacksons. It's Percy Jackson with Nicolas Cage, because I feel like there's a Nicolas Cage reference in there somewhere. Yeah. Teen Wolf 2, man. I got to tell you, one of the dumb things about Teen Wolf 2, it's probably that might be the worst sequel ever. I just remember they recast Styles even. So they've got Jason Bateman playing the cousin of Scott, the Teen Wolf, going to college, and they were just like, okay, so what's the formula here for Teen Wolf? We've got a kid coming of age in high school, and he plays basketball. So why don't we have a kid coming of age in college, and he's a boxer? So they're just like school setting, sport, scholastic sport. And somehow we'll bring in, I believe his friend is Chubbs and Styles. Somehow we'll bring them back, but we'll just recast Styles. We won't even try. And the guy who played Styles the second time, I don't even remember anything about him. He was just, I don't know. Like, I feel like the original Styles set down the groundwork for how to play your friend's sort of sensible, sneaky, clandestine Like, what do you call them? These guys that are like sneaky dudes. His friend is a sneaky dude. Oh, the one about the Greek gods and their children. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, I like that. Oh, I sound like I'm 95. I'm only 900 years old. Oh, that sounds nice. I like the Greeks. Oh, the Romans too. That they have the Romans. I'm from New York. From New York. This is what I grew up listening to. Crystal Skull. Yeah, I'm gonna say the Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was not good. It's not a good movie. You know why it's sad that movie is but let me just finish off this Teen Wolf 2 rant. Teen Wolf 2, the whole point was that it like literally hit all of the beats of the first one. So you just remake the first movie and then you punch in just, boxing reference instead of basketball reference here. And it's the exact same movie. What's up, JJC? We're just talking about Teen Wolf 2, terrible sequels, Teen Wolf 2 being the worst of all of them. And let me tell you, that movie, it's silly because they establish in 2 full movies that the wolves don't have tails, right? And then there's like a scene that's supposed to be kind of like, I don't even know what the director was thinking in Teen Wolf 2, but at the end of the movie, there's a professor or a librarian or one of the deans of the Teen Wolf school, the college that he goes to. She walks away, and you see that she has a tail. And it's supposed to be like a little gotcha moment. Like, hey, this whole time, we didn't know, but this professor, she was a wolf this whole time in sheep's clothing, if you will, because we see that she's got a big, giant, wagging wolf's tail. However, never in the series have they established that these wolves have tails. So this is just like it's a catastrophic failure of film directing. It makes no sense. We're just supposed to assume that because this lady has a wolf that has a tail, that she is also a teen wolf, an aged teen wolf. However, that doesn't make any sense. It's as if they didn't even care. You talking to your boss? What's your boss have to say? Toy Story got darker with each sequel. I'm on Toy Story 4 and I haven't finished it yet. And not that I can't. I kind of watch like 10 minutes and I go, how much more Toy Story can I hear? How much more of this Toy Story do they got? Because it's more Toy Stories. And I've seen it 3 times before. And now I'm on the 4th one. And I don't know. JJC's got his hands full. He's pregnant and he's working. He's talking to his boss. This is a guy who's juggling a lot of things in life, yet doing a superb job, holding it down. Good job, JJ. Jem Reese, we're talking about terrible sequels. Meatballs 2. Remember the Meatballs movies? I remember them. I remember they got less and less Bill Murray, in the sense that the first movie has Bill Murray, I believe, and none of the sequels do. And then they just become like a rated PG movie to like rated R. Let me see. The Meatballs series. Or is it Meatballs 2? I'm thinking 1979. Meatballs. Yeah, it's got Bill Murray. Who's that? Who dat? Meatballs 4 to the Rescue. Apparently, Meatballs 4 to the Rescue has Corey Feldman in it. You go from, you've exponentially dropped off if you start out a film series with Bill Murray, and by the 4th one, you have Corey Feldman. This is a terrible, terrible direction to be headed. I saw Corey Feldman one time at a vegan grocery store. I'm not vegan because I disagree with not being able to eat honey. I want to eat honey. But I'm vegetarian, so I was at this store because on account of that. And that, of course, Corey Feldman was there looking through the frozen foods, dressed as Michael Jackson. Of course he would be. And yeah, so if you live in LA, you'll have a Corey Feldman sighting at some point. Cheers. Cheers, JJ. Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, guys. Come on now. What happened there? Come on, Mr. Spielberg. I thought you were the greatest Hollywood film director of all time. Mr. Spielberg, I thought that was your middle name. Steven, greatest film director of all time. Rodney Kevin Spielberg. This was your middle. What happened? I think Steven Spielberg has been mailing it in for the last 20 years, and I'll tell you why. I was watching a clip of Steven Spielberg directing The Post, and I've worked on many movie sets for many years. I know what goes down on a movie set. I understand the vibe of a movie set. I can catch a whiff of the tone of the set just by seeing the behind the scenes footage, because I have to walk on a set as a set photographer generally, and will walk on a set and have to gauge the temperature, have to gauge where to be, who to talk to, because you get there's a dynamic happening. Everything's moving pieces. And I've been just watching behind the scenes clips of a Steven Spielberg movie. That dude is so powerful and so busy and so producery that he has everything sort of set up. And I'm going to venture to say this. Everything is set up. The shot is lined up. Everything's set up. He's had his meetings with the actors. The stand-ins fulfill all of the technical requests of everything. And not until they're rolling does, I think, Steven Spielberg even walk onto set. He kind of just like walks through a door, and then he's like, okay, action, okay, cut. I'm going to go back to eating a pastrami sandwich and yelling at Hollywood and telling Hollywood what to do. Because but pastrami, that's delicious. See, I'm a vegetarian, but I can agree that pastrami is delicious. Ain't nothing wrong with pastrami, unless you disagree with the food industry. Get your salami locally. Pastrami also. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to watch that, to see Steven Spielberg just kind of like mosey in, tell everybody what to do, and then leave. So his movies, I think, suffer because of that. I think they're as good as they can be, but I don't know if he has the passion and desire, and I mean, he's definitely still pretty visionary. Like, he knows exactly how to craft a movie now, and I think he's a little bit too efficient at it. And what happens is you kind of miss that wanting to prove something vibe. Bridge of Spies is still great. I still think that's a pretty good movie, but I think his last great game-changing movie was Jurassic Park. Because he did several game-changing... He did Jaws, he did Close Encounters, he did the Indiana Jones series, E.T., Color Purple. He did all those movies from the 80s that are like... I mean, even Always is actually pretty good. I don't know how game-changing it is, but it was really nice to see Audrey Hepburn. Lord of the Rings kept me glued to the screen, says, do not follow me, I'm serious. Yes, Lord of the Rings movies are definitely engaging. They're hours and hours and hours of engaged fun, because you're on this quest, you're on this adventure with all these little hobbits. And one of my favorite things about the Fellowship of the Ring, I think it's the first one, maybe the second one, but there's that shot of them all trudging through the snow over a mountain, and Legolas is walking upon the snow, just walking on top of the snow, because he's an infallible elf. Pretty neat. The Meatball series. Short Circuit 2, man. Jaffe Mustafa brings up Short Circuit 2. Listen, we all liked Short Circuit movies. We all liked Short Circuit 2. But I think this might be the third day in a row that I'm bringing up the fact that it's a little bit weird that Fisher Stevens, not an Indian American, plays an Indian roboticist in both of those movies. And we were like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's not like there are a billion Indian people existing already that any one of them would be more qualified to play an Indian roboticist on a movie than Fisher Stevens. However, that's just how Hollywood was and kind of still is, actually, to be honest. Hollywood is a funny situation. TV commercials are a funny situation because all of the casting calls I see right now, which is kind of telling for commercials and stuff, are like, hey guys, how can you, being at home, make our company look good? Send us a self-tape audition of all of the good things that you're doing so that somehow some of that shine could rub off on us, McDonald's or whatever. It's not McDonald's. I'm just using them as an example. McDonald's, if you give me a commercial, I'll take it. I've been this close to landing a McDonald's commercial 3 times in the last 2 years. So, good God, if I could just steal back some of that McDonald's money, it probably would just be the same amount of money I paid them. But that's my plan, is to just get it back. To just get it back from the companies. I feel like it's justified. Empire of the Sun. I don't know if that was a good Steven Spielberg movie at that time. Very good point there, Jaffe Mustafa. But Short Circuit 2, man. Los Lobos kick your balls. Los Lobos kick your ass. Los Lobos kick your balls. Los Lobos kick... Wait, one more time. Rewind. We got to take 3. Los Lobos kick your ass. Los Lobos kick your face. Los Lobos kick your balls into outer space. Michael McKean. And not Ali Sheedy, nor Steve Guttenberg, who were the biggest names in the first movie. I like how they don't have Ali Sheedy. She's good, guys. Ali Sheedy. We forget. We forget about her. Never forget. Never forget Ali Sheedy. Can someone make me that shirt, please? And while you're at it, I don't know. Make me a sandwich. Not pastrami, though. Yep. Jaffe, you've corrected me. Thank you. I gotta say, these have been fun. Every day at noon, guys, we're talking movies, talking about all kinds of nonsense and meshigas and pastramis. We're talking to you. We're reaching out to you guys. I feel like that guy. I almost feel like I was like that preacher who was like, "Oh, coronavirus be gone." If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It's ridiculous. There's a preacher and he's trying to get the coronavirus to leave by screaming at it. The only way to do that, guys, the only way to get this to go away is to do what we've been doing. Stay diligent, stay home, stay away from each other, at least 6 feet, always wear the mask, not in lieu of social distancing, in addition to social distancing. Wear the mask and stand 6 feet apart. The mask is to help protect the other people around you. Hopefully there'll be widespread testing soon that we'll all get, and we can see how to phase society back in. Oh, good golly. We are stuck at home right now, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the world. Sometimes we have to think outside ourselves. Think outside your brain box. Grease 2 was garbage. Tatiana mentions that Grease 2 was garbage. Do you mean that like Grease also was garbage, or Grease number 2 was garbage? Because listen, Grease, it's fun. It's fun. I get the appeal, but it's like the movie itself. I get it. I mean, I'm gonna get shot in the eye if I continue down this road about talking anything poorly about Grease. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to, I am going to respectfully decline on commenting on the movie Grease. I've only seen it once. I saw it when it was re-released into the movie theater, so I could actually see it on the big screen. And there's singing. There certainly is lots of singing. Grease. You know what I liked better than Grease personally? Maybe it's just me. Little Shop of Horrors. But that's just me. I mean, I don't. The whole tell me more. Did she put up a fight? I mean, I'm like, guys, what's going on here? Like, you guys locker room talking or something? Because this sounds pretty violent. Yeah. Just saying. Some things that seemed accessible and acceptable at some time are not anymore. Particularly those songs in Grease. The chicks will cream? Wait, is that what he says? Good God. Good golly. Or the chicks will scream. I know that in high school, when people had to sing it for an audition, they would say the chicks will scream. Come on, guys. Grease. All right, I'm going to get off of Grease and get on to Little Shop of Horrors. Hairspray's good. Hairspray started out as a movie, which is interesting. See, I like that. I guess Grease also... Was Grease a movie first and then a play? A musical? Yes, Chicks Will Cream. Thank you for verifying that for me, because that is something you don't want to... I like sing to 10-year-old kids. Yeah, watching Grease it's a trash fire. See, Kelsey, thank you for backing me up on this. I mean, I'm saying that this is Kelsey's opinion. Kelsey says that watching Grease as an adult is terrible. It's a trash fire. That's what she said. I didn't say that. I'm just reading the words on my Instagram screen. I have nothing to do with that, what she said. But that's what she said, Tatiana. I'm not going to get in the middle of this. You guys can talk it out. I don't know, however you want. Go to AristotleFullThrottle.com and subscribe, and then you guys can talk about, you guys can have a talk. You can have a chat about it. I'm just gonna stay out of it, except agree totally. Okay, maybe not. Listen, we all love Dirty Dancing. If you don't love Dirty Dancing, I don't understand. But the movie, look, we all love it, all right? We don't have to claim who loves it more. But the movie, I mean, it's all right. As a movie, come on. It's not like friggin' Citizen Kane over there. But it's got the feels. It's got the heart in the right place. And I think that that's what we're going for. We want to see that the movie feels good, that it means well, that it's touching all the love buttons in our brain, not physically, because that would be assault. Guys, Rocky Horror Picture Show. See, that one I like a little bit more than Grease because I think it's just so deliberately subversive. It's so like, this is a sex movie that we're like musical. And it's got all sorts of people under the sun in that movie. And it was the 70s, way before society was more widely accepting of the people that society is made up of. Isn't that funny? Society itself is afraid of itself. Weird. Deadpool 2 was great. Tomorrow, Friday, the last day of the week that we're going to be doing this. 5 days a week, every day, guys. Every weekday, that is. 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. That means 1 p.m. Mountain Time. That means 2 p.m. Central Time. That means 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means, 9 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. The mean one. Lambada. Oh, yeah, my God. Talk about Lambada. Lambada, the forbidden dance. See, they even made a Lambada movie because in the 80s, everybody was like, dirty dancing, that sounds dirty, uh-oh. And they were just, dancing. And then, and then a few years later, people were like, listen, about this dancing thing, we need to make it, like, somehow risque. How about we have a forbidden dance? Like, it's totally forbidden. And then you see them dancing, and you're like, well, they're dancing. How is that forbidden? The lambada. People were afraid to shake their hips in the 80s. They did not want to see people lambada-ing. Good God, the lambada. It's so forbidden, people have forgotten about it. Totally. But Rocky Horror Picture Show, that was a fun one. I never saw that one until maybe high school, which I think is the right time to see that movie. My oldest brother would go and do the hangouts with every Saturday night, and he'd throw toast at the screen or something. I could never understand what the hell they were. He's like, yeah, you go. It's at midnight. This is New York. He's like, and then you everybody dresses up, and then you throw like toast at the screen. I didn't understand. I still don't understand. It makes no sense. Which one is better, in my opinion, Dirty Dancing or Footloose? Well, first of all, I'm glad they've never made a sequel to Footloose, nor have they made a sequel to Kevin Bacon. They never could. You can't replicate Kevin Bacon. That's why we all have to figure out our separation from him. How many degrees to Kevin Bacon am I? I don't know. I'd have to put myself inside of the Kevin Bacon machine and figure out the calculus on that. But Footloose or Dirty Dancing? Footloose. Footloose, I haven't seen since I was a kid, but I saw that movie when I was very young. I was very impressionable. I loved the vibe of that movie. Really difficult to try to say, but then you've got Jerry Orbach in Dirty Dancing. So now you've got this struggle going on in my head. But then you know what happens? I picture the scene where Kevin Bacon is dancing in the barn and he keeps getting replaced by a dude who's like doing the parallel bars and stuff and doing all this gymnastics. And that's got to go. So Dirty Dancing wins. Footloose loses by using a body double for Kevin Bacon. And you can't beat Patrick Swayze. He's really doing those dance moves, okay? Swayze is doing the Swayze. He's doing the acting. He's Swayzeing. He's doing three things: acting, Swayzeing, and dancing. You can't beat that. And Jennifer Grey. You know, it's funny. When she was on Dancing with the Stars, at the time, this is years ago, she was on Dancing with the Stars. My girlfriend at the time would watch Dancing with the Stars all the time, and I'd have to tolerate it, and I'd say, okay, it's Dancing with the Stars night, and I'm just going to be a curmudgeon and make fun of this. But then I secretly liked it, so I would just enjoy it. That's just between me and you. But when Jennifer Grey was on, I was like, okay, so the cast consists of Joe Schmo, Jennifer Grey, and then a bunch of other Joe Schmoes and Jane Does. So how long before Jennifer Grey wins? Like, every week I was like, so when Jennifer Grey wins this dancing competition, being America's sweetheart and a legend and an icon of a dancing movie, like an iconic movie, Dirty Dancing, I was like, it's like, come on, guys. Just give it to Jennifer Grey already. Sure enough, 10 weeks later, she wins the whole damn thing. She won Dancing with the Stars. Duh. I mean, who didn't see that coming? Raise your hand. If you didn't see Jennifer Grey winning Dancing with the Stars, I'm going to sell you a bridge. That's a mixed metaphor. What's a metaphor? For bringing a simile to my face. Deadpool 2 was great. Thank you. Do not follow me. I'm serious. Also, Jimmy James Cordova. The answer to your Dirty Dancing or Footloose question, decisively Dirty Dancing. Because of, sorry, Kevin Bacon and John Lithgow, you can't beat a Patrick Swayze, a Jennifer Grey, and a Jerry Orbach 1, 2, 3 punch. Can't do it. Sorry. Angeno says Footloose is more fun to watch. That's an interesting debate there. Chris Penn and Footloose. Oh my God, Jaffe Mustafa brings up Christopher Penn and Footloose. Now Footloose is getting back up off the mat. Uh-oh. Footloose might make a comeback here. It might be the dark horse. I think Flashdance might beat them both. Thank you for bringing that up, Will. Fame or Flashdance, Will asks. Yeah, Flashdance has got Jessica Biels, right? I forget. There's so many Biels. There's Jennifer Beals. There's Jessica Biel. There's Fozzie Beal. Oh yeah, she did have that. Will brings up that Jennifer Grey had that show on ABC about herself, and then was on, I guess, Dancing with the Stars on ABC on a show about her again, which is dancing. Like, who in America? This would not be America if they didn't vote each week to make Jennifer Grey win Dancing with the Stars, being the fact that she is Jennifer Grey. This would be Nazi Germany. This would be Soviet Russia if we could not all come together on one thing, and that is Jennifer Grey is America's dancing sweetheart. And Patrick Swayze. Just Patrick Swayze. Flashdance for the win. Kelsey, I agree with you. Flashdance beats them all. Out of all the dancing movies, Fame spawned a TV series. I saw Debbie Allen doing like a dance thing to Fame on either TikTok or Instagram Live for like isolation. So go follow Debbie Allen. She's awesome. She was like dancing it up to Fame and giving out free workouts. And she's an icon, and her sister is also an icon, Felicia Allen. The sisters. It's like a 1-2 punch, dancing and acting. But Debbie Allen, I guess, can do both, so she's clearly the better sister. Yeah, it's crazy. But we're wrapping it up, guys, here. 2 minutes left on Instagram Live. You can hop over to my YouTube channel, AristotleFullThrottle.com, if you want to talk for a couple more minutes. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Subscribe, share these videos. Tune in every day at noon. We're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the greatest sequels ever. I can't wait for that, because there are some great. The answer is Empire Strikes Back. But we could, have a lively discussion about whatever you think is the best. But you'll be wrong, because it's The Empire Strikes Back, and everybody knows that Terminator 2 is the best sequel ever, that Aliens is probably the best sequel ever, probably Captain America's Civil War. But definitely The Color of Money, directed by Martin Scorsese. That's a sequel. That's a sequel. The Godfather 2. Everyone knows it's The Godfather 2, guys. It's all of The Godfather 2. But guys, yep, I also have a Patreon. So please, if you could find it in your pocket, to maybe pledge $1 or $2 a month, Aristotle Full Throttle on Patreon. So patreon.com/Aristotle Full Throttle. It's paused due to poor connection. This is probably going to just pause and time out like it has been every day on my Instagram. So I'm just going to end it sooner than later because I want it to stay up all for the next 24 hours. Aristotle Full Throttle, you bro in the know with the fro. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye. The Dark Knight. Hey guys, we got rid of them. We got rid of the guys on Instagram. I think when people start to go over from Instagram to YouTube, they're going to be like, hey, you guys have been making fun of us? And I'll be like, yeah, we're OG YouTubers. We like to hang out on YouTube. Remember YouTube when that was a thing? It's all TikTok now. Get your TikTok and your Instagrams. The Dark Knight, Endgame, oh, those are going to be good. Tomorrow's going to be a good day for good prequels. Endgame is probably the greatest. I can watch Endgame every day, all day, every day, all day, every day. You give me Endgame, and I'm happy. You give me Endgame. Turns out, out of all of the Oreos I've been eating this week, I just give you an update on the Oreo situation. I decidedly like the double stuff. The double stuff is my favorite. But get this one. This is like a trick I learned, and I'll tell you about it. If you put peanut butter on the double stuff, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. I'm gonna call Guinness. I'm gonna let them know about this. I'm actually gonna call Martha Stewart and say, listen, Martha Stewart, have you tried this? Let me ask you something, Miss Martha Stewart. I understand that you like to do like homemaking things, but you ever have peanut butter on an Oreo? Because that is delicious. Miss Martha Stewart. Me and Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg can all hang out, and I'll show them a whole new world, a whole new one. And says Footloose is more fun to watch. I suppose they're both exciting. They both have their moments. I'm talking about Footloose and Dirty Dancing. The Lambada, I gotta say, I think that was a funny phase of going, listen, how do we capitalize? This is the problem with a lot of sequels. And I'll leave you with this. The problem with a lot of sequels is they go, what is the thing we think made all of the money the first time around? So let's just try to do more of that. Think was good about the first one, so let's just do more of that again. They say, oh, how do we serve the overarching story and the characters for every sequel? How do we create more room for these characters to grow by telling new stories and different stories that are begging to be told because of the unfolding of the characters? Nobody does that with sequels when I was a kid. Nobody did that back in the day. They just said, how do we redo this again? So it got kind of frustrating and infuriating. Until studios realized, oh, we can make even more money if we make a sequel that is good. I think that's something we all learned. I think it's frustrating. I used to think that as a kid, though. I was like, if only these studios understood that if they made a movie that we all wanted to watch multiple times, they could get multiple sales out of it. Like Endgame, for instance. I saw that, well, I only saw it in the theater once. Although I kicked myself because I wish I saw it 10 times in the theater, because there's so many moments in that movie where it's the Hollywood, the Los Angeles audience would just jump up and cheer. People get excited when they watch movies here, and I like it a lot. I like that people are unabashed about their celebration of cinema. So when people would jump up and cheer during that movie, I was very excited. But yeah, if you make a movie that's actually really good, people are going to hear about it. They're going to want to see it. They're going to want to see it again. So, guys, concentrate on being your best self, living your best life. Because ain't not going to be no sequel. Ain't going to be no sequel to this. This is it. This life is not, this life is not just a read-through. It's more than just a read-through. That's it. I'm just quoting a line from a Red Hot Chili Pepper song because I think they hold the most sage wisdom in this planet. This life is more than just a read-through. And I'll leave you with that, guys. Remember, be safe, be kind, work hard, wash your hands, think of others, and try to imagine yourself in their shoes, particularly if you disagree with them, because you might learn something. You might grow yourself. Your character might expand and become all-encompassing like the Blob. It's a lovely image, and I'll leave you with that. I love you guys. Thanks for watching.